With her sails billowing and crew gently guiding her towards port, the Bark Europa appeared in the Narrows for a short stay on her journey towards South Georgia and Ushuaia. Built in 1911 in Germany, the Europa was originally named Senator Brock's, after the German poet and politician Barthold Heinrich Brock's. For most of her life, she was used by the German Coast Guard as a light vessel on the River Elbe.
A light vessel is a ship that's having a lighthouse on board, and it functions as a kind of a buoy, but then bigger, for getting ships into the right river. The Elbe in Germany has a lot of sandbanks on all sides, so even in the middle of the North Sea you have to go already in a certain direction not to run aground. So they had 4 light vessels bringing the ships into the Elbe, to Cuxhaven and to Hamburg. This size of ship is more or less the same as the ships that Amundsen was using and Shackleton was using and Scott was using in size.
So is that why people will book onto this type of voyage, because they want that sense of kind of older adventure?
We're on the green side, so we sail as much as possible, so less fuel. For instance, we came now from Montevideo and we used only the first day the engines a little bit. For the rest up to New Island was all under sail. And about 90% of the time that we sailed in the West Falkland area, we were doing that under sail also.
I presume that the people that sign on have never had an experience like this before. They've never had to pull ropes and raise sail and things.
We tell them on our website, we tell them exactly what but the people always think, of course, different. Everybody has his own dreams, and so it's different, but they're really happy that they did it. And it's most of the time more than they expected in wildlife and things like that. We take not passengers, but we take people that pay for it also, but they have to work also. So we call them voyage crew, and we teach them how a ship like this sails, and they help us pulling the lines and doing the lookout, steering the ship, things like that.
It's not all traditional though. There is a lot of modernity in this old ship, as I soon found out. This isn't the crow's nest here, is it?
No, that's the radar.
Okay, this is the radar.
Very important for modern times. We've got even 2 in that you can sail in fog times and find the icebergs and things like that.
Wow. So even in such an old sort of old kind of traditional ship, you still have.
We look old, but if you look behind the panels, all the modern equipment is there. We have the same equipment as a cargo ship that's mooring here, this afternoon, for instance. So we need to comply with all these safety rules that normal merchant ships have to. But we hide it a little bit more. And our propulsion is a little bit more green and old style.
What's the story behind the bull and the lady?
The ship is called Europa, and Europa is not only a continent, it was also a princess from Lebanon in the early Greek times, and she was a daughter of a king. And in those times, they were the princesses were also keeping the herd for their fathers. So she was with the cows. Herding on the beach and on the lands there, and then a very nice white bull with golden horns and flower around his neck came out of the ocean and invited. In those times, bulls could talk. Invited her to sit on on his back, and when she did that, he ran straight into the Mediterranean and swam to Crete. That bull was Zeus, the main god, and he fell in love with the girl. So she was captured there for a long time, but he had to go because his wife Hera found out about it, of course, and he had to come back to the Olympus. But what you see in front of the ship is the bull, Zeus, and the lady. There's 2 ladies because we have 2 sides of the ship. So that's Europa hanging on the bull, being pulled into the ocean.
And as she sails off into the sunset, we wish the Europa and her crew a safe voyage, and a sincere hope they don't run into any more talking bulls.